No, you told me I was on mute. What's going on, everybody? We got a lot to discuss. Got a lot of things to do. Got a lot of places to be. We're about to be all over the map. It's just things that's happening out here. I don't know if y'all been keeping up. What's going on out here in these streets? This morning, I was binge watching. I binge watched basically um a couple of things. I binge watched um people being denied uh service while banking, basically um your checks while banking, like they was going to go on and get their check cash, 20,000, 30,000, $3,200, and the police being called on them, or like the one lady, she got a check for 44,000 from Social Security because of her disability, and it took 10 years for it to happen, and finally when she got her check, it was 44,000, and she went to the bank. I think she went to US Bank to cash it. It might have been Bank of America, US Bank or Bank of America, no. Anyway, she went to cash it, and they was like, oh nah. So they took her check from her, and they said, oh, they took her check. They didn't tell her why. They held it, and it's from the Department of Treasury, right? And they held it for 50 days. And she had to get a lawyer, uh, the station, one of the local news media stations involved in the whole nine. And all they issued was an apology, right? So she had to wait a year, then she had to fight for 44,000, which is crazy to me because it's like what at that point it's like what's the issue there. The other one was a guy sold his boat. He had a boat. He sold it. He flips boats. He was a former, looked like he was not a NBA player, but looked like he might have been a league player, like an overseas league player or something like that. Anyway, he flipped boats on as one of his little side hustles, and so he sold a boat for like $3,200. So he took the $3,200 check, cashier's check, to the bank to cash it. They immediately said it was fraud and then called the police. And so the police come in, it's five of them, and he's surrounded by five police cops for $3,200. When, like the lawyer said, all y'all had to do is call the lady because he went to her credit union to cash the check. All you had to do was call the customer to see if that was her check. Like, did you write this check? And yeah, she wrote the check. Because they asked him how did he get this kind of money, and it'd be amazing to me, which is where I'm leading into, of what is a lot of money and what is success. Like, what is a lot of money, right? um the other one was a guy, he flipped houses. He got a check for 30,000. Police called on him. A lady in Aurora went to the bank, 61, sat down, walked in, sat down in the bank, was trying to get her account unlocked on her phone, and I think she was doing something on her phone because she always locks it. She said she always secures everything before she does a transaction. So she probably locked the card or something like that. All right. So then while she's sitting there, of course, they come over and ask her, "Can we help you?" She's like, "No, I don't need any help. I'm just trying to, do my, unlock something and do my transaction and then get out." And so from what I gathered was there was an exchange after that. I'm assuming they probably came back over because she probably was sitting there for a minute, came back over. And then when they came back over, she was annoyed. So the branch manager called the cops on her, and then they tried to uh say she was being rude and disrespectful and this, that, and other and whatnot. And so the cop told her, like, you can't call us because somebody is trying to do a transaction and they're rude to you. Like, you can't call us for that. But it got me to thinking, which kind of sparked my thought process of the whole Fonnie and her dad in Atlanta, where he was denied the ability to do anything in the bank. And it's just a history of banking and black and minority, the whole nine, all of that, right? So then I got to thinking, I was like, all right, because in this line of work, and this is what's really crazy about it, is you could you could get a sign-on bonus for 40,000. You could get a sign-on bonus for 20. You can get a sign-on bonus for 60. You can get a sign-on bonus for 100,000. And it got me to thinking, like, does it make sense to continue to put your money in a bank where somebody is going to discriminate against you for that? Or does it make sense to, like, be your own bank? And when I say that, that gets into the whole nother concept. But I was just thinking, like, what is the best place for you to put your money, like, so you can have it readily accessible if you get a large chunk, right? If you get a large chunk, do you take it and go throw it in a high yield savings account? Do you throw it in a brokerage account? Do you throw it in an IUL? Where do you put these large sums so that you can have immediate access to your money? Not somebody taking it and holding it and doing the what I call the drizzle drip effect, where they take it, they put your money, you put your money in there, they hold it, they'll release some on this day, then they'll release a little bit more on that day, then they'll release a little bit more, and after like 5 days or 7 days, you got all your money in the account. No, I went to the bank. It came in as 40,000. I got to the bank before 12. It should be in there immediately as 40,000. Not $2,500. Like, nah, it should it be immediately in there. Like like don't play with me. Don't play with me. If you need to do your verifications and your checks, then you should go do your verifications and your checks, right? So I just got into a rabbit hole. Like, what's the best option? Like, what are the options out there for us? And it just spawns some thoughts and so forth. Casual economist, thank you for 10 months. You've been a member for 10 months. We appreciate you. All right. We appreciate you. All right. Um, again, these are just my random thoughts that I just be having, uh, and just thinking about options. Because as you all grow in this environment, in this tech environment, yeah, you'll make the 10,000 a month. Yeah, you'll make 15,000 a month. You'll even make 30, 40,000 a month, even 50. But what happens when you do get that lump sum from an RSU, or say you got a lump sum because you did a wise investments? Okay, let's play it out. Let's say you were smart and you bought 200 shares of Nvidia. Let's say you did some let's say you did some covered calls on that. And Nvidia, when you did it, was at, I don't know, 790. It just shot up to 1,200 because that's what they're expecting it to be. And you've held it on for a year. You like, you know what? I'm gonna take these wins. So you go ahead and make You make your money on that, right? Now, granted, it's already tied to an account already, but what if it wasn't? What if you're like, cut me a check, my guy? Cut me a check. Let's say you get cut a check. What is that? Um, I'm just gonna play devil advocate here. Um, let's say a check was, let's see, 1,200, and then I don't know. Let's say I don't know. I'm just playing around with numbers. Let's go for a check for 120. Let's go for a check for 120,000. You walk in the bank, you know, you got a check for 120. You walk in the bank, you're like, you know what? I played that right, man. I feel good about myself, man. I should reinvest this money, but I'm gonna take this money because I have been looking at this house, or I had been looking at this plot of land, or you know what, I know I want to do something nice for my mom and my dad, or I want to do something for my family, or I want to do, you know what I'm saying, I want to go on a trip, or whatever the case may be. You like, I don't do dealings, I don't do transactions out of this account, I do transactions out of this account. So you're like, you know what, you got the check, you're like, boom, go drop it in there. And you may drop it all in there, you may not. You may be like, I just want to look at it. Just want to look at it, right? So I just want to see it enter into my account, right? I know I get joy out of that. How much got put in there? Oh, yay. My goal on my brokerage accounts, it's a small goal. It's not a big goal. It's a small goal. Is to make sure that I'm making anywhere from $500 to $700 a day on my brokerage account. Like on one of them, I got a couple of them, but on one of them, like $500 a day. So what's that? 500 times five, right? Times 52 weeks. That ain't bad, right? That ain't bad, right? And I need to take off for weekends. What is that for without weekends? All right. Number of days, number of weeks excluding weekends. I should say number of days. I guess I should also include holidays, business days. Let's do from January 1st of 2024, or that's fine, 2023 to January 1st of 2024. Either one. All right, I'm just trying to get the number of days. Yep, calculate. 246 days. It's 246 days. All right. So we'll say 500 a day times 246. That's a little bit more accurate. So 123. All right. That's a little bit more accurate. So 123,000. That's the goal. Well, every day I wanted to make anywhere from 5 to 700. So we do 700 times 246, 172, right? Every year, right? That ain't bad, right? And then you multiply that. Say you do that over 20 years. That's what it could be. If you did the 172 200, I think that's what that number was, over 10 years, it could be that. And if you did that same thing, 172 200 over 15, that's what it could be. That's not bad. That's not bad, right? That's one account, right? You just keep the same thing slow and steady in that one account. Make sure it averages between $500 to $700 a day. Right? You could do more, but that's just my minimum. That's just my minimum. Right? That's my minimum. Really, the goal is to get to 1,000 a day, but starting off small, you can increase 500 and then in 500 a day and then increase it to 1,000 a day, right? So that's in business days. So then you think about the $120,000. You walk into a bank and they tell you, "No, we can't cash it," or they call the cops on you, or what have you, right? And the only things that I know that could possibly, let me say it this way, that could be potentials are things like your IULs, or um, having don't let anyone cut you a check. Do wire transfers, but there's fees on that. Um, just things. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, what do you do when you're faced with this situation? I've been faced with this situation before. I had a check. I think it was $30,000. And I went to go cash it, and they asked where I got the check from. I'm like, I got the check from my 401k. Like, like I got the money from my 401k. And then they were like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I have been in situations before, like when I was looking at, I was talking to D about this. When I was looking for a house, and I saw this condo, and I said, "Oh, maybe I do like a 2 or 3K loan on it, rehab it, still have some money left over from it, and then, build it up, and then take another part of that money and go do something else," right? So when I went and looked at it, the guy comes, he shows me the place, this, that, and other, and then I go, and at the time I had just bought my first Mercedes ever. Like I got out of my Ford Explorer and bought a Mercedes. So all right, so I go in, I look at it, I'm like, I don't really like this area, but I get it. But I ain't really feeling this area, but I get it. So when we got ready to leave, after he was locking up the place and putting the lockbox on, he said, "You do know you have to show proof of funds. Um, you know, like you have to show where that down payment came from." And I said, "Okay, no problem." He said, "Yeah, you have to show where it came from, like from a bank, or if it was a gift or whatnot. It has to be, you have to show." He kept emphasizing it. And I kept saying to her, I said, "Why do you keep emphasizing you have to show?" Like I said, "Are you nervous?" I said, "Are you some type of like scammer or fraudster or something? Like are you like I didn't understand him. Like I was like, what are you trying to say, or what are you trying to insinuate?" Now, I know we live in Florida, and Florida is like high for scammers and stuff like that. But I was insulted because he kept saying it, like he's like, "You have to show proof of funds. You have to show where this money is coming from." And I was like, "Okay, like you ain't got to keep beating me up with it." And then like I drove off, and I was just so it was so weird to me. And then he called me, and he was like, "Remember what I said? You have to show proof." "What?" I'm like, "You know what? I don't even want it." I don't even want it because you keep on haggling me about like, "Oh, you got to show proof." I'm like, has he been scammed before, or like what happened? Like I was just so confused. I was just so confused by it, but you know, whatever. So my thought process for today was, as I was looking through this, and I've been looking through a lot of things, like, what does it mean to be successful, and who determines your success, and what career paths are people choosing, why they're choosing these different career paths, what's going on uh mentally, right? Mentally, what's going on, and and how are people visualizing themselves? Like really, I always I'm always curious as to how people see themselves, right? Do you see yourself only being making the most you would ever make in your life? If 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 you looked at yourself and you looked at your trajectory over the next, I don't know, 15 to 20 years, is are you looking at yourself and saying the most money I'ma ever make is 52,000? Is that the most you're gonna ever make in your entire life? Like from now until 20 years from now, the most you're gonna ever make is 52,000. Is that what you have in mind for yourself? And if that's what you have in mind for yourself, this the wrong channel. I tell you. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It may offend some people, but this is not that channel. This is I'm just gonna be honest with you. This is not that channel. That's not my goal, right? That 52,000, I'm trying to I'm saying you can make that a month. But if that's your goal, that's not it. My goal is to get you to 52,000 for the like every year you get paid, you go file your taxes. They say, "Oh yeah, you came out like a bandit. You made 52,000 this year." That's it. Right? That's it. That's all you see for yourself. Like, yeah, I'm in the game, coach. 52 is my thing, right? But I don't yeah, I don't want to discourage you from coming to the channel. I just want you to know that if that's your mindset, that's not what this channel is about, right? This channel is about here are the opportunities, here where things are at, here's how we can get it, here's the people that are already doing it. Let's go. All right, let's go. A lot of the things that I see just in general online, talking to people, it's all about it's not even the education because I think people know there's the education is out there, but it really boils down to mindset. It really does. Like it really boils down to the confidence in yourself. It boils down to how you view yourself, how what do you think you're worthy of? How do you put yourself in position to get to obtain those things, the rewards? I look at stuff and people are like, man, some people are just so selfish. I'm like, but you know what? And this is gonna be a hard pill to swallow. At some point, you do have to be selfish. You do have to be selfish with your time. You got to be selfish with your energy. You have to be selfish with where you place yourself, what environments that you're in. You have to have some protection around you so you can do what you want to do without the stress. And when I say that, I mean like the studying, the ability to have a financial conversation, the ability to talk about, you know what, I studied this, I didn't understand it, so I'm seeking out help, and now that I do understand it, I was able to obtain whatever that is, right? So you do have to be selfish, and that may be the wrong word, but that's how I look at it. You do have to be selfish with your time. You do have to be selfish with your environment, your energy. You have to be mentally prepared for things. And so sometimes being in a room with people that have doubt and negativity all the time, you're gonna think the worst first versus thinking the best, right? Or I think we all do this. And I tried my hardest not to do this. I think everybody goes, a majority of the people, let me say not everybody, goes into situations and they think about all of the possibilities of what things could happen versus like just going into it. Like just whatever happens, happens. But everybody wants to have like, oh my goodness, I gotta think about all the possibilities. And you get caught up in thinking about all these possibilities when none of the outcomes you thought about even come to life. And now you just spend all this energy and all this time thinking about scenario one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. When sometimes you just should just go into the situation. All right. Enough of my monologue. Enough of my monologue. It's my 30-minute monologue, folks. What's my thoughts though? All right. So I want to look this up because I always want to know where we're at. There's a new one that came out from for 2024, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There's a one out for 2024, but I pulled this one up for this is an older one, but I pulled this up. Um, Let me go through this real quick. Do 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 do. Where is it at? Where it talks about labor force participation, right? Two or more races, about 60% across the board. There, Asians or Native Americans a little bit more. All right. All right. Adult men, 20 years and older in the largest race and ethnicity groups, white, black, Asian, and Hispanics. Hispanics were more likely to engage in the labor force activity than were the other groups. With a participation rate of 79.5, blacks were the least likely, this is of men, with a rate of 66.5. The labor force participation rate was 74.7 and 69.9% Asian adult men and for white men respectively. So Asian adult men 74.9 and adult white men 69.9. Adult women, blacks 60.6% were more likely to participate in the labor force than were Asians at 58, Hispanics, whites, and so forth. Among teenagers, Asians are 21.2% were less likely to participate. Listen to this. Asians 21.2% were less likely to participate in the labor force than were whites at 38.5, Hispanics at 32, and blacks at 30.3. Right? And so then they in here they go on to talk about where are people at education wise and so forth and so on. And they also talk about the occupations that most people have, which I always go look at the occupations because the occupations to me tell the occupations and the education tell the story of the financial situation to me. And when I say that, meaning, and there's also one here for entrepreneurs. And by the way, for entrepreneurs, it is non African Americans that have the most, and I reported that last week, have the most businesses, or look at business as a way of obtaining wealth and have the most, right? So here we see bachelor's degree right here for blacks at 34. You see Asians at 67%, more than the white Americans, right? This is all American statistics. And then Hispanics down here at 24%. All right. And then with some college, where you see here we got some college, but something happens, we drop out or we don't finish or whatever the case may be, right? We see Asians over here at 7. And then with high school graduate, no college. But you see here when we look at this, we're at 31 and then Latino at 31. So between blacks and Hispanics, we have a high school diploma or GED or something like that, but no college. We're neck and neck there. All right, we're neck and neck there. But this right here is a telltale sign here, right? And what falls under Asians is another question that has to be answered, right? because same way with what falls on the whites, right? There are again, if you've been ever been to Costa Rica, they consider themselves white. So you know, you have to account for who considers themselves white, who's checking what box, and I guarantee you, those boxes that are getting checked have multiracial tones or people in those boxes, right? So they don't consider themselves white, even though to me they look Hispanic to me, and just but that's just to me, but they consider themselves white. All right, so here, right here, individuals with higher level. I'll blow it up because it look a little small on our screen. We blow it up because people will fight this tooth and nails. Individuals with higher levels of education are more likely to be employed in higher paying jobs. Like I say, don't fight me, fight the stats. Don't fight me, fight the stats. So, this has been a long, drawn out conversation. Should Black people go to college? And people say college isn't for everyone. Here's my thought process. I'm sure people will combat this, but whatever. I think Black people should go to college and finish. I think they need to be strategic about what opportunities they go to in college in terms of like the STEM fields and so forth. Even if you're going for a psychology degree, get your PhD, whatever the case may be. But I also think the certifications, in addition to your college degree, will have you set up for long term. Now people will be saying they would say, well, college is a scam because of the amount that college costs and so forth. We have, I think these newer colleges that have came about, like the WGU, the online schools and stuff, have really kind of leveled that playing field, in terms of like the opportunities for you to attend college and not be and get a 4-year degree and not be on a campus or so forth or so on. That's just my thoughts. You all can not like it, but that's just my thing. Sharon Middleton says, I take applications for Medicaid in the state of Virginia. Hispanic and Latinx are considered white. Yep. Yeah. And we know that, you know, those boxes would get checked way before blacks would get checked. So sometimes I think these stats can be a little skewed, right? So let's see. And it also says individuals with higher paying levels with higher levels of education are more likely to be employed in higher paying jobs, such as those in management, professional, and related occupations, than are individuals with less education. Median earnings of people 25 years and older increase with educational attainment across all major race and ethnicity groups. Among full-time wage workers, full-time and salary workers, median usually weekly earnings for blacks is 1164, Hispanics 1260, with bachelor's degree and higher were lower for whites at 1468 and Asians at 1762. All right. And so here is the breakdown. This is where we really get into the breakdown. Like I said, there's another one out for 2024. I'll bring it up probably next week, but 2021 is still good. 58% of employed Asians worked in management, professional, and related occupations. The highest paying major occupational category compared with 43% of whites, 34% of employed blacks, and 25% of Hispanics. So you can see here service, sales, office, natural resources, construction and maintenance, production, and transportation. Right. And here is the breakdown. The blue is management. Here's Asians in the management. Let me bring this down a little bit so you all can see that a little bit more. But here is the oops, where it go? Here we go, right here. Here is the breakdown all in your face. Um where we're at. right? Service industry. If we look at the service industry for blacks, it's at 21.5. If we look at it here for Latino, I'm assuming, yeah, 22.9, right? 22.9, right? And those service industries are the ones that get affected the most with automation, the most with AI, and so forth. The need to move this needle here, I don't care what nobody says. I think it's important that we move that needle, but we move it in a strategic way. I am not telling you to go to school and go get your degree in uh I don't know, uh African American studies for kids. I'm not saying that, even though you could. I'm just saying set yourself up to have the best possible outcome for 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 a, I don't want to say for 5 years, but for the next 10 to 15 years. That's all I'm saying. It's possible you could do that, but yeah. All right, so that's that. All right, employed Asian women were more likely than any other employed women to work in management, professional, and related occupations. 57% of Asian women compared to 48% of white women compared to 40% of blacks compared to 40% of 30% of Hispanic, right? Among employed women, 57% of Hispanics worked in two major occupational groups: service occupations and sales and office occupations, right? All right, so here goes some more breakdown, right? It says 18% of total employment, Hispanics accounted for 18% of total employment, but were substantially overrepresented in several detailed categories: painters, paper hangers, construction laborers, maids and housekeeping, landscaping and grounds workers. Blacks made up 12%, but was substantially substantially overrepresented in transit and intercity bus drivers, nurses assistants, security guards, and gambling surveillance officers. Home health aides was the other one. That's where we at. Overrepresented right there. That's what it tells you. Right? That's where we at. Blacks made up 12% of all employed workers, but was substantially overrepresented in transit and intercity bus drivers at 35%. And the other article that I saw, I think for 2024, it says most 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 black people get their money from bus driving, which is transportation, postal work, and nursing. Those are the three occupations that we're over. So those of you that are in tech, that are working in tech, and you're really not represented on most of these maps. You're really not even really shown in these studies, right? I did the math. I think it's I think we produce what I think it came around to what we produce 6,000 engineers a year in total. I think that's what it was. I have to go back and look at pull it all up again, but I think it's 6,000. All right, so Asians accounted for 7% of all employed workers, but made up a larger share in several categories. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about, where we get excluded at right here. Let's go. All right. When it comes down to Asians, it includes manicures and pedicures at 73%, software developers at 37%, computer programmers at 22%, and financial investment analysts at 21%. In our stats, we're not even represented. We're so small that we don't even get represented in the category of software developers and computer programmers. And that includes your cloud people. I want to tell you, cloud from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They put you under software developers and computer programmers. That's really how you show up. Linux administrator, that's how you show up. We're not even represented. We're so small, we don't even get represented, right? All right. So whites comprise of 78%. And here's their breakdown. This is what I also thought was interesting. All right, here we go. When it comes down to being employed, 95% of farmers, ranchers, and agricultural managers, construction managers, 91%. Wholesale and manufacturer sales representative, 88%. 88%. Right? When you start breaking out these numbers and y'all keep asking me what should be my career path, where should I go? Well, your career path is not shown in this data. Your career path is not even shown in this data. Not for us. Put a one in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. Put a one in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. When we go look at where we're represented at, don't even show up. It's so small, it ain't even worth mentioning. Right? Blacks made up 12% of all employed workers, but substantially overrepresented in occupational categories, including transit and intercity bus drivers, 35%, nursing assistants, 33%, security guards and gambling service surveillance officers, 33%, and home health aides at 32%. Right? We know you can retire from a bus driver. I know you can retire from, I guess, being a security guard and having a security guard company, home health aid. I think all these things probably wear on your body and your mental at some point, right? All right. So let's go here. Breaks down among employed men, and this is of industries. Hispanics were more likely to work in the construction energy than were whites, blacks, and Asians. Employed black men, employed black men were more likely to be employed of of other race and of men and ethnicity groups to work in transportation and utilities. Transportation and utilities. That's this is your route. This is what you have decided on. The question is why? Why is that your career path? Why have you chosen transportation and utilities? Why do you choose to be a truck driver? Why do you choose to be a bus driver? Why do you choose security? And what does utilities fall under? What is utilities? What is utilities? What is that? I'm only pointing out to you these numbers because these numbers over time also represent your growth, your generational wealth, and so forth. Yeah, cable installers, the whole nine. So I always go back to the question is why? What is it that you see or don't see as to why you choose that route? Why do you choose that route? What are you not seeing? Is it the math that is hard? Is it not being in the right group? Is it a combination of things? Like, listen, I'm all for, hey, you had a bad childhood, so forth and so on, and you hit 25. Once you hit 25, zero excuses from me. I don't want to hear it. I don't. I just don't. That's men and women. 25, I give y'all some grace. Up to 25, I give you some grace. After that, no grace. Right? Um, Down to Earth say utilities, AT&T, ComEd. I think we think these jobs, stability and easy to get to. Yeah, I think they're easy to get into, but they're mentally and psychologically hard to get out of. Easy to get into, but mentally and psychologically hard to get out of. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I binge watched these two. I binge watched probably about 4 of these. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna pull it up. This is what I see, and it's a ton of these. You can see like that it done started loading up for me, right? Let me show you this. So the title of this, and there are several of these out there. The title of this right here, you see that? I'm 37 and never had a full-time job. Why a warehouse job is depressing. There are a ton of these from different black men and different men in general saying, man, listen, working in the warehouse is the hardest job I ever had to do. Working in the warehouse is the hardest thing I ever had to do. That work is backbreaking. That work is too much for me. That I can't do this no more. I quit. I don't know why y'all want to do that work, right? I don't this is all over, right? All over. All over. So the question is, why are you choosing that route? I just be having questions, right? Like the comment said, warehouse jobs aren't designed for intelligent people. All right. Like it's again, I actually prefer the warehouse, working alone, doing a repetitive task. I spent a whole lot of time plotting and thinking my a way to put myself in a position to not to work. Came up with a lot of great ideas on 9 to 5. I don't gossip, just work and think. And the pay at the warehouses is usually good. So finding these ideas is no problem. Usually good. Usually good, right? So what is the average pay in warehouses now? What is the average pay in warehouses? All right. What is the average pay in warehouses? And what is the long term pay? Like, I guess you can go to be a manager, but do people want to be a manager in a warehouse? I don't know. I don't know. But this is what I'm seeing. All right. Let's hop down here to a similar trend with Asian women. Asian women, 16% worked in professional and business services compared to white women. Hispanic women and black women. Hispanic women were more likely to work in leisure and hospitality than were white women. Asian women and black women. A large share of employed women across all race, ethnicities groups worked in education and health services. For black women, it's 40% in education and health services. 40% for whites, 36 for Asian women, 32 for Hispanics, 30. So black women, you getting your money from education, some type of form of teaching or something like that, and health services. That's 40% of women. What are the other 60% of women doing? Right? Now here's the telltale sign here. Asian families and Hispanic families were more likely to have at least one member employed, 86% to 85%, than were whites and blacks. Families maintained by women accounted for 42% of black families, 25% for Hispanics, 15% for whites, and 12% for Asians. Among families maintained by women, Asian families were most likely to have an employed family member, at 85%. By comparison, whites at 77, Hispanics at 77, and blacks at 73. 73% of black families that were maintained by women had at least one employed member, right? In general, families maintained by women were less likely than married coupled families or families maintained by men to have an employed family member. Among mothers living with children under 18 years old, black mothers were more likely to participate in the labor force at 75.9% than white mothers, than Asian mothers, and Hispanic mothers. 75.9% for a mother who is living with children under 18. 75.9%. They working, right? And we can look at the unemployment rate. You see who the unemployment rates by race, Hispanic or Latino, right? But you can see where the blacks are at. Boom, two or more races, but you can see we're leading the path there. And you can look at this too and see like where blacks have been leading the path from 1973 until now, right? We're going until now. It went down, but we're still above everyone else. Unemployed Asians and blacks experience longer periods of unemployment than they did Hispanics and whites. The median duration of unemployment for Asians and blacks was typically 21.9 weeks and 19 weeks respectively. 19 weeks. 19 weeks. That's what? Uh about 4.7, almost 5 months. Almost 5 months of unemployment. 5 months of unemployment. 5 months of no money going into the household. 5 months of no insurance. 5 months of no benefits. 5 months of no 401k. Five. It's a lot of time. Correct, TC. Right? Blacks comprised of 13% of the civilian labor force and 22% of the people marginally attached to the labor force in 2024 2021. The marginally attached to the labor force are individuals who were not in the labor force, wanted to work and were available to work and had looked for a job sometime in the previous 12 months but not in the 4 weeks preceding this survey. Blacks make up a high proportion of discouraged workers relative to their share of labor force. Discouraged workers who represent a subset of marginally attached or are people not currently looking for work because they believe that no jobs are available to them. I don't think they hear me, D. Blacks are also made up a high proportion of discouraged workers, 22% relative to their share of the labor force. Discouraged workers who represent a subset of marginally attached are people not currently looking for work because they believe that no jobs are available for them. Why? Why is that the case? What is the issue there? What is the mindset there? What is the skill set there? Who are you hanging out with? Where are you going to look for jobs at? What skill sets do you already have? What skill sets can you attain for free? What is going on? Right? Then they have the earnings, right? The median U.S. weekly earning. This is 2021. There's a new one out for 2024. The weekly earnings. Let me get this together. All right, there we go. The weekly earnings of full-time wage and salary workers in 2021 was 777 for Hispanics, 801 for blacks, 1018 for whites, and for Asians 1328 a week. A week. The earnings for white men 1125 for black men, 825 for Hispanic men, 820. And for Asian men 1453. The median earnings for white women was 925, for black women 776, for Hispanic women 718. 81 cents, 68 cents, and 63% on the dollar percentage of the dollar respectively with earnings. Asian women was 1141. All right. The earnings disparity across the major race and ethnicity groups for men holds for all major occupational groups. For example, median usual weekly earnings of Asian men and white men working full time in management, professional, and related occupations at 1904 and 1602, where it comes down for 1353 to 1270 for Hispanics and blacks. And then it got down here where they pull all this information from. You can here's the tables and then keep going. Technical source and then keep going. They got all where they pull everything from. So you can go and look up this stuff yourself. I'm just reporting on it, right? Give you an idea of what it looks like and what I'm seeing across the landscape. So now I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna see. D, you should put a poll up. Put a poll up, D. Put a poll up and say, do you think college is a scam? Now put that up, D. Do you think college is a scam? Because I know some people think college is a scam. I think if you go to college and not have a plan is a scam. Thank you for enjoying the show. Thank you for enjoying the show. All right. So this is how wealth is distributed um, in the United States. The distribution of household wealth in the US by income group, right? And let me pull down so you can see this graph here, and then I'll pull it back out. I'll make it bigger. All right. So here, 100 trillion, 50 trillion, starting at the bottom. Now we started at the bottom. Now we're here, right? Top 1%, right? The 99%, the 50 to 90%, and then the bottom. All right. So let's go look and see what they're talking about. All right. Today, the share of wealth held by the richest 0.1% is currently at its peak, with households in the highest rung with a minimum of $38 million in wealth. Overall, roughly 131,000 households fall in this elite bracket. So in the United States, there's an elite bracket of 31.9%. I mean, 31.9%. There's a bracket of 38 million with 131,000 households. 131,000 households. Who are the 131,000 households at 38 million? All right. So here is a breakdown, and let me blow this up because it looks a little small. All right. Share of household wealth. Now here across the top of the years, and we can see as we keep going as a culture, or as the United States keeps growing, we keep increasing this number right here. But look what everybody else kind of falls into. Everyone else falls in between the 90 to 99% and to the 50 to 90%. And that number has been steadily the same, except for right here in 2010. But it's been steadily the same here. And so has this number here. All right. So what let's see what that is. All right. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, the greatest decline was seen across 50 to 90% bracket households in the lower and middle class. Those in this rung have a minimum of 165,000 in wealth, with a majority of its assets in real estate, followed by a pension and retirement benefits. And then it says the average 51,000 in wealth, the bottom, make up the lowest share, accounting for 3% of the wealth distribution in America. Income growth across this bracket has increased over 10% from 2020 to 2022. Overall, the top 10% richest own more than the 90% combined, with 95 trillion in wealth, right? So just to break down distribution of where everybody at, we're right here. So the median wealth in the United States lies between 51,000 and 165,000. So basically everybody on here that's on this stream right now, not it's saying 9 times out of 10 your wealth falls between 51,000 and 165,000, and that includes your home, right? It includes your home, and it also it says in this 165,000 that includes majority of its assets in real estate, followed by a pension and retirement benefits, right? Just pointing out. All right, let's close these down so we can keep up where we're at. All right, now we're switching over. I just wanted to talk about this because I was like, do y'all invest in Berkshire Hathaway? Who invested in Nvidia? Are y'all in Nvidia? And TC, yeah, most women do not negotiate, or if they negotiate, they don't negotiate enough. Let me say it that way. You know who was a quiet sleeper? Raymond James. Raymond James. I'm looking it up. Hold on. Raymond James. Raymond James hits 1.38 trillion in assets under management. Pull this over for y'all. Raymond James hits 1.38 million in assets. Raymond James Financial reached a new higher watermark of 1.38 million in client assets under administration last month, on the heels of its third consecutive record-setting performance. It said the St. Petersburg wealth management and financial services firm added 152.2 billion in assets in January of 2023 and 6.3 billion in December of 2023. All right. Ticker symbol RJF. RJF is the ticker symbol. Symbol. The problem with the trades, Filthy Frank, the problem with the trades is from what I've seen of black men is the wear and tear on the body. That's the issue that I have with the trades. Are they good? And to get into, yes, but over time, they're just not physically something that you should be in. That's just what I see. Yeah, I've been in Nvidia for a few years now as well too. I looked at my thing. I looked. I got 8 shares of Nvidia, which I'm not mad about. Look like right now they're at 788. They up today 788.17. That ain't bad. 788 times 8. That ain't bad. Now when we get to 100 shares, that's when we're talking 100 shares. You could DCA. It ain't gonna. I don't think you're gonna get much of a dip on Nvidia no time soon. Heather, you might as well just DCA your way in. Yeah, I looked at AMD. Yep, I looked at AMD. Let me do this. Let me see. I tell you. Did anybody go hop into MPC? Did anybody look at that? I'm in it. Doing pretty well. It's an energy stock. Let's go here so you know what I'm talking about. MPC. The max is returned 810%. That's what this looked like. Took a little dip there, but keep on going. MPC. All right. Other ones that's been pretty good is NVR. Y'all ever heard of them? NVR Inc. You purchased DLR. I keep listen. They don't hear me when I talk about these REITs, these data center REITs. They don't hear me. They don't hear me. We gonna really get into it today. We're gonna really get into it today. All right, NVR. Here we go right here. NVR has over 535 homeowners have trusted NVR Inc. and their families and for their future. Right? All right. NVR. It tells you right here, a parent company of Ryan Homes. NVR, not network recorder though. Let's go NVR Ryan Homes. Right? NVR operates under Ryan Homes, Envy Homes, and Heartland Home brands. Heartland Home brands. Here are their models. Heartland Home. Nothing's fancy. Just keep it easy. Affordable homes. Where they located at. Here's the Heartland Luxury. Let's look. Yeah, see, they're standard. They're not that fancy. They're okay. Right? It's enough. Get you in the house. Right? Then you got your Ryan Homes. But NVR, back over here to NVR. That's returned 4,113% NVR. What's going on, one? So I don't know if people been paying attention or not. Do do do. So this came out last year. I talked about it. Digital Realty and Blackstone announced a $7 billion hyperscale data center development and joint venture. This came out in December the 7th of 2023, right? So that's a REIT. You could go buy data center REITs. I've shown that list before. If you type in Seeking Alpha data center REITs, they'll all come up, right? They'll all come up, right? But Ryan Homes is something NVR you should look at. Put it on your watch list. You ain't gotta buy it. Put it on your watch list. Is it up here? Yeah. So since we're talking about data centers and investing, right? The Metro Atlanta is poised, and this came out last year. And I'm gonna show you some other stuff. And Metro Atlanta is poised for historic demand for data center expansion. This is October of 2023. I spoke on it. Well, I'm bringing it back up again because I want to show you something. Because some of y'all live in Atlanta and don't even pay attention, right? Two new giant data center plans just outside of Atlanta reflect what the industry experts call a new era of demand and will be driven by the AI boom. T5 Data Centers LLC aims to build 2.9 million square foot project with 7 buildings in Coweta County, about 25 miles southwest of downtown Atlanta. To the west in Douglas, Taylor, and Mathis plans a 1.5 million square foot project with 4 buildings. Both companies recently submitted their plans and development of regional impact filing, a process triggered when projects are large enough to strain infrastructure. Those projects join a wave of other data centers in planning and development across the metro Atlanta. What's that surge will continue to grow over the next several years, prepared by demand of AI, said Mike Lash, a first vice president with Data Center Solutions Team CBRE. I talked about CBRE before, right? For context, Northern Virginia is the world's largest data center market with 2,132 megawatts of total inventory, according to CBRE. Currently, Atlanta is near 300 megawatt market. Over the next 5 years, it is poised to expand by 10 times that size. So if you are not buying land in Atlanta, if you are not buying houses in Atlanta, if you're not creating something in Atlanta, I don't know what you're doing. And I'm not just talking about Atlanta, I'm talking about all around. I'm talking about Macon, all around. You can't be in Atlanta and let this pass you by. I think Erica Williams did a show yesterday talking about what's on in Atlanta. I report about it because it is one of those mega cities that you all like to move to, and you all want to get in entertainment, and you all want to have a chicken wing spot or a turkey spot or whatever the case is, right? You want a bar, restaurant, or whatever. What I'm saying to you is the people who are coming in working at tech want to have an experience and they want to live somewhere nice. So get together, buy some land, build your own subdivisions to rent. That's all I'm saying. You ain't got to wait for Blackstone and all of them to buy out whole subdivisions. And the average and the median subdivision, not subdivision, the average median house that they rent at a minimum of 2,600. Can you imagine somebody being a renter with you for 10 years at 2,600? Every month you get 2,600 for it. You own it outright. Buy the land. You ain't got to build right now. All of it. You can go build 10 houses. Get the money going for that. Come back. Do some more development. Get the money. Come back. Do some more development. Right? Data center demand was already surging nationwide, which I've been talking about. We don't get to have all this data out here without a data center. We don't get to have these space flights looking at space, looking at weather and stuff without data. Somebody has to grab the data. Somebody got to do an analysis. All your phone signals. Look at what happened with AT&T and all those other ones, right? Look at y'all were down. Didn't nobody had no phone. This and that. What are you gonna do without a phone? Go back to how we used to do. Pick up the landline. I'm on my way. It's gonna take about 30 to 40 minutes for me to get there. I'll be there. Everybody almost died because they didn't have a phone. Oh my God, I don't have a phone. Oh my God. Let me tell you what we did before we had phones. Pay phones. Pay phones. Walk up to it. Do 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 do. And And if you had to call somebody out of state, you had your quarters and you just make your phone call out of state. That's what we did. That's what we did. It could be better, Aunt. I'm working on that being better. Infrastructure. The world moves on infrastructure. I don't personally, this is let me pull this up right here. Personally, this is Tameika starts. I don't see how y'all like not even like I wouldn't even be looking at no other careers. Like personally, I'm biased. People gonna, be like, everybody ain't gonna do that. But listen, it ain't a server, it ain't a network cable, it ain't nothing out there that it's nothing out here that y'all that you can do without infrastructure. Do we need people to go put up cable lines and power? Yes, but how long can you do that? I think that's a good field to get into. 1, 2, maybe 5 years, get out. I honestly don't know how you do it. And I thought about this a long time ago. And I was like, man, data centers, you gonna never not have no data center. I don't care how many clouds you create. I don't care how much AI. What do you think? AI is just you think cumulus cloud, 34 degrees? Like you think it's just a cloud? Like what do you think? What do you think it is? Like what do you really think it is? Right? Yeah, we if we had to get somewhere, we did MapQuest or we use a map. Tell you, I just don't know how y'all don't get it without it. But okay. All right. Data center demand was already surging in the nation coming out of the pandemic as companies needed more information technology infrastructure to power cloud services and digital products. AI raises power demands to another level. A typical data center may need up to 25 megawatts of power. An AI driven data center starts at almost 100 megawatts. Right? The buildings they're receiving backlashes and power issues up there. So leading companies turn towards Atlanta. Hey, you ain't gonna let us do it up there. We'll build it down in Atlanta. The growth comes as Georgia is experiencing unparalleled expansion into the auto manufacturing for electric vehicles and related suppliers. Georgia leads all states with 27,817 newly announced electric vehicle or manufacturing jobs, including car and battery plants and EV charging stations, according to the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. If you're looking for jobs, go look up the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. Right? The power demands for both the data center and EV expansion will add a new dynamic to Georgia's growth. The state has never experienced energy supply constraints like some markets last said. Some utility providers are beginning to stagger project timelines to make sure they can provide reliable power. Both the new data center projects have long timelines. Taylor Mathis is targeting 2028. So you got time, but now it's the time to go buy. Go buy the land. Go buy the land. Go buy. People want they roof. People want solar panels. They want all that. Go buy. I don't know if y'all seen the new designs in the new cities where they're building new cities that don't need cars. They're making it all walkable and they're putting in high tech paying jobs in those new cities. So all you do is walk to work or you bike. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to this trend, but it's happening. So you think about these data centers getting built and what's going on. Watch these new cities are going to be created with no cars. So even the EV car, like you guys, like I don't need the EV car. I can just get the EV taxi, right? So let me see if this it right here. All right. So this right here, this came out 2023. I'll pull it up in a minute. Archer Aviation plans to build its air taxis. This came out last year in Covington. In Covington, Georgia, they're building the air taxis, right? I talked about the air taxis from Tampa to Orlando, right? But the air taxis are going to be a thing in Georgia because as they start to expand that airport and keep expanding that airport, people are going to be able to take their air taxi to the airport. I'm just going to get an air taxi and go to the airport. It's coming. We're not there just quite yet, but we're coming. The flight paths have already been created and so forth, right? So here we go. The California-based company intends to start construction in early 2024 on a manufacturing plant that will initially have capacity to build up to 600, excuse me, and 50 aircraft in a year, right? Plans is to locate 350,000 square foot facility on the 96 acres in Covington, Georgia. The company plans to invest 118 million over 10 years. Somebody got to eat. Somebody got to go do the work, right? Its ultimately plans is to expand the facility to 550,000 square feet. At the point, the plant would be able to produce 2,300 aircrafts per year, creating 1,000 jobs over the long term. So, if you're in the Covington area of Georgia, buy the land, build the houses, put the restaurants up, give people places to eat. All of these things. I'm just reporting to you what I have been seeing. This is like a recap. But let me pull up one more thing. Pull it up. I thought I saved it, but I don't think I did. This is one. I talked about it last week. Amazon buying 430 acres in Covington, right? Let me see. This is the same article, but there's another one. I may have it up here. Is this it? No, this is the Coca-Cola and Done Eating. They're getting rid of their 28 acres. This is what we just talked about. That one. This is the same one for Amazon potential data center in Covington. This is the 430 acres from Amazon. And this is the Covington, the 118. But there's one more for Covington. Someone else is building a data center in Covington. And I'm trying to get you the name of the company. It's not just Amazon. Let me see if I can. I thought I saved it. I may have to go search on the Business Journal. Hold on. I hate when I don't save stuff. Let's do the past week. No, it's not there. All right, so let me go to the Business Journal. Thanks for coming, a new member, Jamal. We appreciate you. 300K earner. I see. Go look at the previous stuff that we've done. You should be able to get that. You should be able to see those. It was one that just came out this week. Let me look on. Let me go to the Business Journal for Atlanta. Um, and let me do Covington. And let me see. That's 430. Oh, you know what it is? It's not Covington. It is Conyers, which is right there by Covington. That's what it is. It is Conyers is getting two data centers. That's what it is. So let me pull that up. It's Conyers. It is Conyers that's getting the data centers. All right. It's on the business journal, but this'll work right here. But I'm gonna pull this over. Hold on. I knew it was one of them I forgot for you. But I got you covered though. All right. Data center campus proposed by strategic real estate partners outside of Atlanta will be located in Conyers, southeast of downtown. Conyers is about 40, 45 minutes outside of downtown. So between Conyers and Covington, buy the land, buy the houses. Thank me later. You welcome. Rent them, build them, buy it. Use your sign-on bonuses and buy the land. Buy the townhomes. Build the townhomes. Buy the duplex. Build the duplex. Tax liens. I'm telling you, they are building in that area, and people have to work there to build, and people have the need for people to be going on the other side of town. You still go to Alpharetta, but imagine if you are start building data centers, and if Atlanta was smart, and if Atlanta was smart, and the people who are building these data centers, they will build classified data centers. They will put some skiffs out there so they could get some of that government money, the DOE money, the DOD money, the Air Force money, and put it out there. And now you got defense contractors out there. You got defense contractors in Covington and in Conyers, and now they hiring for cloud. Now they hiring people for whatever. That commute now reverses. You think the people that their property value don't go shoot up? Now you with same thing that happened in Loudoun County, same thing that happened in. What do you think happens? The reason why PG is like, yo, we want to be their chamber, their guy over the chamber, little inside scoop was like, we want PG to be like Loudon. I'm trying to tell focus, man. Now let's get back to the mega city. Now the mega city don't seem so bad, but it's still you not in the city. You outside the perimeter, really. You straight down 20 East, really. But imagine now you got you get a house at 250, and then the next 5 years it shoot up to 700,000. You got a house that's this, right? They're gonna have to build out them roads out there. And let's not get twisted. They still gotta build out roads out there. But I'm just pointing out when you're talking about the Rockdale Technology Center, you're talking about the Rockdale, yeah, yeah, that they more than that. In 2018, when I was looking at Ashburn, when I was looking to go, I was like, oh, I ain't gonna get no apartment. I'll just go live with somebody. The dude was like, oh yeah, it's 5 people that stay here. We got an elevator, we got a rooftop. He was some he worked in tech. He worked in the finance. He was in the finance office. He bought it for 800,000, and he was renting out all his rooms. And I was like, I'm not parking my car outside. He's like, yeah, you could just park it down the street and stuff. I said, I park my car in a garage at home. I'm parking it in the garage when I get here. I don't want to dig out no snow. Right? What I look like? Right? So then he was like, you can move in, but he was like, if the electric goes up or if this goes up, he was like, you gotta pay extra. But he was charging 1,500. He's already charging 1,500 per room. And he didn't think he had like 4 rooms. He's like, one person is a flight attendant, this and you had to share a bathroom. I'm like, I just go get an apartment. Right? Yeah, so that was 750 in 2018. They're probably a good, cool million in Ashburn. Ashburn, Chantilly, y'all, it all run right there together. One big road, one Lee Highway, one big road, one big road all the way in, one big road all the way out. That's all they did. Like, just keep pushing this road. We're gonna make it wide. and y'all just going down this road, right? Shopping plazas all over the place. It's one big old long road. Let me see. All right, let's go. Ashburn, Virginia townhomes. Let's go. All right, and then let's go highest to lowest. Yeah, these suckers right here. They look just like this. This is one of the ones I was looking at. Yeah, these suckers right here. They were 750 back then, so this 985 is about right. All right. You get a little rooftop action up there. You get a little parking right here. All right. That's what exactly what they look like. And I'll be like, where do you park at with 4 people in these units and stuff like that? Where do you park at? You get your wooden stairs. Here it is. This look like the exact one. He had it laid out just like this right here. Your kitchen. Everybody got to share a kitchen here. Right. It's what it looked like. You got a little living room. Right. This the middle level. And you go outside, you got your little deck. Right. You get a bathroom, then you go upstairs. You got your master, so forth, so on. Right. You got a little area where y'all could play pool because he had up here, he had a pool table. You go upstairs, you play on the pool table. You can sit out. He had a little lounge area. Basically, I was like, how is he getting away with this? I know they got an HOA on this. I know they got an HOA. I'm like, how he getting away with this? You got your little backyard. This a meal. This a meal. It's a meal. All right, let's go back to the listen. You said price history. Hold on. Right here. Look. In 2020, 654. Yeah, that's about right. Like yeah. Now they shot up to about it had shot up to 985, and then I think it looked like it's taking a little dip there. But yeah, that's about right. 2019, 650. 2019, 650. The reason why this one's 650 is because it don't have no elevator in it. If it got an elevator in it, add 100,000. Right? If it got an elevator in it, you add 100,000. So these were going for 750 in 2018 with the elevator in it. I don't think this one got an elevator in it. Let me double verify. Yeah, see, yeah, this don't have no elevator in it. So the elevator is 100,000. So they don't have no elevator in this one. So you walking up all them steps, slide all up all them steps. And he was charging for each room at that time. It was 650. Each room he was charging, well, he was 750. He was charging 1,500 per room. 1,500 per room. So you 1,500 times 3 at that time. Sliding all down them steps. Don't wear no socks on them wood floors and go to start walking down the steps. Yeah, get the ones with the soles on the bottom. Yeah, I know facts no fluff that he stopped it. right? So, Ashburn. Why am I bringing Ashburn up? Number of data centers in Ashburn, Virginia. Northern Virginia data centers, 65 plus data centers. Ashburn Technology Park. What do you think happens when people start building out there? Ashburn data centers, 78 data centers, 78 in the Ashburn area. When you see stuff like this going on in Covington and Conyers, which I knew eventually people would get out there and make that happen because it's a lot of land out there, you're going to start seeing what go up. Real estate. Buy now, thank me later. Hold on, hold on to your love. You got to hold on to it. Buy the land. Go get you some tax liens. Go buy you some. Go do some. Uh, what's it called? Subject to. Go get you some subject to. Now I'm just going here and I'm gonna just do select all right now. Let's get rid of apartments. Let's do housing, high to low. Right, this high to low out there. I just typed in Covington. You can go look and see where the things are at, where they're gonna be at, but 1.5 million for 111 acres. Build your own subdivision. Build your own golf course. Do a little trail out here. People can come out here. Put a little something. Put a little wedding event out here. A little place out here. People get married out there. Be creative, right? Right. Buy you an estate where people can come onto the property and get married on the property and stuff like that. Have a little wedding venue, a little getaway, little staycation in the city, little staycation in the city. So you can do all of that. But you can start to see now. Look at this. People already look at that. They already starting to build 1.5 million. They already got these big plots. They already done chopped up this land. Look, you come to the end of the cul-de-sac. This your house. They already done started. Don't say I didn't warn you. 1.3 million. I don't think about Georgia and this right here. I be worried about my house getting flooded. I don't trust it. Mm-mm. But here you go. Here go the houses. They're already out there. They gonna go up. These prices gonna go up. Let's look at the history. Look at that big, big old incline. This must have been when they announced they building data centers out here. Everybody's like, let me go on and get out there. In 2023 and what March, April, May, what's that? May? 2023, 885. And that shot up to 1.2 million. Now we done shot up to 1.2 million. 26.3% growth. Yeah, all right. It started in 2011 on the $13,000 plot of land, built something on it. 13,000 in 2011. $13,000 plot. That just give you some idea on what I say about buying the land. Now, even if you had the land sitting there, the land part would have appreciated in value, but you didn't know because you didn't go and read the 10-year plan. Every city got a 10-year plan. You got to go read it. All right. So we talked about Covington and Conyers. We talked about the data centers. Buy the data center REITs if you're not investing. We talked about MVR. We talked about Nvidia. I talked about Raymond James. We got that there. Back to Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway Q4 operating earnings climbed 28%. You don't have to be in Berkshire B, or I mean A. I think you be in B. I think it's A. I think it's A that's the cheapest. Let me look. It's B is the cheapest, 417. And then A is like 170, is it? Let me see. B BRK Google Finance. 628,000. I remember it was 197. I don't even look at it. I was like, I can't afford that. I can't afford it. One share. One share. If you know somebody, hey ladies, listen up. If y'all know a man that got one share of Berkshire Hathaway, just say yes. Fellas, if you know a woman that got one share, just say yes. The old sinister yes. All right, what has it returned on the max? It has returned 50,214%. Right. Your B BRKB is at 417. The max, it has returned 16.38%. It is on a upward growth. Upward growth. Yep. That's what happened with the transportation jobs. That is correct. All right. So Berkshire Hathaway. Q4 operating earnings rose 28% from a year ago, driven by improvements in insurance, underwriting, and investment income, which more than offset declines at the railroads, utilities, and energy and other businesses. The company disclosed on Saturday. The company doubled the amount of its common stock it repurchased to 2.2 billion during the quarter compared to 1.1 billion in Q3. The investment tightened 167.6 billion in cash. 167 billion in cash and short-term securities on its balance sheet as of December of 2023, climbing from 157 billion. They added $100 billion. Right? Operating income by segment versus over the years. They have insurance, underwriting, insurance, investment, railroad, utilities, other businesses. I don't know what falls other businesses, and then other whatever that is. Berkshire are BRKB investments in equity. 79% of its portfolio fair value was concentrated in 5 companies: Apple, Bank of America, American Express, Coca-Cola, and Chevron. The That compares with 78% concentration in 5 of the same companies as of September the 30th of 2023. Its stake in Occidental Petroleum (OXY) rose to 14.5 billion at fair value. Meanwhile, its holdings on Kraft KHC declined to 12 billion at fair value from 13.2 billion. So if you want to invest like Berkshire Berkshire Hathaway. There's a whole book. There's a whole series out there. You can go set your investments up like that and just invest in those companies if you wanted to. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just invest in one of their actual stocks, which is the B for that I would say, right? I would say invest in B, right? What's going on, Lynn? Engineer in the building. I see your comments, engineer. You said I left Nevada last year after 20 years. Lots of gaming companies there, affordable housing, and wildfires are very large issues in Reno. Love the area, but don't love the CA wildfire smoke and the money. I got you. I got you. What's going on, Lynn? Lynn for the win. All right. So this earnings disappointments, insurance gains, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna go through all of this. I did want to talk about somebody though. I did want to talk about somebody though. Let's talk about this guy, and then I'll pounce on Gen X. All right, these are the top holdings in Bill Gates' $42 billion portfolio, his stock portfolio. $42 billion stock portfolio. What's 10% of 42 billion? All right. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust has 42 billion in assets under management. The portfolio is unique in its own concentrated positions in less heard of companies. These are the top 10 stocks held by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as of December the 31st. Microsoft founder Bill Gates has $42 billion stock portfolio, and in what is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust. The trust's most recent 13F filings made with the SEC revealed its top investments, which are somewhat unique in that they're not your typical mega cap tech companies. Instead, the trust owns concentrated stock position in less than heard of companies like Coca-Cola FEMSA, which is a Mexican bottler of the popular soft drinks. There's also an environmental theme that can be found within the portfolio, including Ecolab, John Deere, and Waste Management. So let's go down to top 10 stocks. FedEx, ticker symbol FDX, market value of 388.1 million. Walmart coming up with their stock split, 3-1 stock split. I talked about this. I posted this in creating wealth on in our Slack. Walmart is due for a split. Who's holding them? Mm-hmm. Coca-Cola. They're holding the bottling service of them. So Coca-Cola FISMA, which is FMX. FMX. Now, if you want to, you can come over here and do Google Finance FMX and see what that looks like on the max. It has returned 922%. It is $118 to purchase. So if you want to purchase 1,000 shares of these, you could. They're within the RAM. Hold tight to them for the next, I don't know, from its inception to now, it has returned 922%. I mean, you hold it for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, you might be all right. So if you held it for 5 years, it returned 31.62%. So let's say you got 100 shares. Let's play around. Let's play. Let's play. Let's say you took 20,000 and let's say you did a monthly contribution on this 20,000 at $400. And We know that it's returning. Let me see, year over year. Oh, hold on. Where my Google Finance it? In a year, in the past year, it's returned 28.34% in the past year. In the 5 years, it's returned 31.62. So I guess we could say we could divide 31.62 divided by 5. Is that fair? Let's do that. Let me know if that's fair or not. I think that's fair. Just give me an accurate year. I just want an accurate year. 31.62 divided by 5. That comes out to 6.3%. So we'll say 6%. We'll say 5 years. And we're gonna do 6.3%. 6.3. Oh, 2.4. That's what I got. And we'll do this give or take. We'll do it we'll do up and down 5. Let's calculate that. So in 5 years, in theory, if I did this right, it could it could move in 5 years from 50,000 on the low end at 4.3 to on the upper end of 8.3 at 58, and then in the middle right at that it'll be 54,000. So you could put in an initial investment of 20,000. In the 5 years you'll be at 54,000. Holding it for 5 years, put a monthly contribution in there of $400 every month. You're putting in 400. So over time, if we show the table, it's what I started out with 20,000. The following year I get 26. The next year I'm at on the low end. I should start right here. 20,000, then 26, and then 32, 39, 46, 54. You let me know if that sounds about right. That's what I'm getting there, but that could be it. That could be it. All right. Walmart, yes. See, those quants in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is working and predicting well, and I know they're getting paid. Yeah, yeah, right. So let's go back right here. The next one up is Ecolab, ticker symbol UHN, market valuation 1.03 billion. If you want to come over here and type in UHN, right here, let's look at what the max of 5. Are they new? Because it don't look like, I don't know, they may be new. Because I'm not getting it. Okay. 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, year to date. We got it. If I go out a year, I'm okay. If I go out 5 years, I'm okay. If I go out a max. All right. So it looks like up here that we're getting a 376% return, but I'm not getting nothing for 5 years. I mean, for max. So at 5 years, let's see, one year to date. I'm just looking at them. Not giving much info on those, so you may want to check this one because here I'm not getting percentage return right here, so you might want to check that one. All right, Deere DE 1.42. Looks like they dropped some shares from John Deere. Caterpillar, we know about them. No change. They kept them. CAT, CAT for Caterpillar, right? CAT. Let's go here and type in CAT. All right. We could look at their max. They've returned 10,916% in 1 year. They're up 37.14% up in 1 year. And a 5-year return, they're up 135%. So you can play around with these and say, okay, look, I'm gonna get into these. Um, buy your 100 shares and hold them for long term. You know, hold them for long term. All right, let's go back over here. Waste Management, WM, is the other company that they're invested in. Canadian National Railway, CNI, and of course Berkshire B. They're invested in, and of course they're invested in themselves. MSFT, right? MSFT. Over the max, it has returned 410,240%. In 5 years, it has returned 264%, 0.65. So basically, if you buy 100 shares, hold them for 5 years, and you should get a return of 264% in 5 years. That's what I'm looking at. That's average. That's not saying that's what the market's going to do, but that's what the showcase is. In 1 year, your return is 64.65%. Right? I don't know. Y'all, do y'all like Microsoft? Would you invest in it? Would you invest in Apple? Would you invest in Microsoft? The Magnificent Seven? Oh yeah, of course they're investing in agriculture. They're buying up the land. They're buying up farm. Listen, it's a listen. If you didn't pay attention to what I reported about the Bureau of Labor Statistics, where it's talk about where white men have their money, then you see the agriculture. You don't see the correlation between agriculture and 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 farmers and John Deere and Caterpillar and Microsoft. You're not making that correlation. You also should be making the correlation of data centers as well too. Thank me later. Just know where the money goes, right? All right. This is what Gen X is saying. Gen X, Gen X, Gen A. That's what y'all saying. I would likely die before I can retire. Gen X, the forgotten generation, is struggling with virtually non-existent retirement accounts. The average Gen Xer has only $40,000 saved up. It's got 533 comments. I'm finna smoke Gen X. I'm finna toast you, Gen X. Gen A. No, you just been. Never mind. All right, let's go, Gen X. Let's go. And hold on. Let me include this: Gen X and geriatric millennials. Alexander, that's what I was thinking in my head. But all right, Gen X, your time has come. Like hee haw. All right, Gen X edges closer to traditional retirement age with the oldest members born in 1965, right? We forget that. All right, Insight from Fortune article featured on Yahoo Finance, fueled by responses from Gen Xers, lays bare that the anxieties many feel about their retirement readiness. In addition to being tagged with the various monkey years, such as the Forgotten Generation and the Latchkey Generation, a significant portion of Gen X finds itself grappling with the reality of insufficient retirement savings. I'm trying to save you, Gen X. I'm giving you a 10-year plan. What more do you want? You don't want to do it? That's fine. But I gave Gen X a 10-year plan. In fact, I gave Gen X a 20-year plan. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine by me. Be strategic, number one. Number two, be strategic about your skill sets. AI, space, cloud, Ansible. You could get into AI prompting, what have you. Anything infrastructure. That's your sweet spot. Write it out. Next, Gen Xers. You're going to have to invest. Look, when y'all hitting 50, go on and invest. Now, with this strategicness, you're going to also have to look at companies that invest into your 401k. Profit sharing 401ks. Profit sharing 401ks. When I say profit sharing 401ks, I ain't talking about a match. Chevron does 8% into your 401k. So you can go look at jobs at Chevron. You can go look at Activision. There's a whole list of them on episode 124 that I covered of textiles and jobs. I talked about profit sharing 401ks last week. Oh, it's plenty of opportunities in 10 years. See, that's the thing. Gen X should not be doing entry level jobs in 10 years. They shouldn't be doing entry level jobs now unless they're just re entering into tech. But in 10 years, they should not be doing entry level jobs. Same thing down to earth. So the same spiel. You got it. Pick a cloud, any cloud. Heather know it best. Heather, drop it in the chat if you're still out there. Right? Oh, Tashika, we know you're not entry level. I'm responding to what somebody said. The other thing, you're going to have to also take advantage of that extra investing. Now, here's another thing that I've been seeing. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to this. There's a rumor, and I don't know how true it's going to be. And I put this in the Slack group that they're talking about people don't invest enough into the 401k. And so they're talking about doing away with 401ks. And then I thought about, well, what does that look like then? If you do away with 401ks, what does that look like? Do we then go back to pensions? And Lord knows if we go back to pensions, I don't want to end up with the yellow freight situation where they squandered all their pension away. And them people been working for 30 years and they're like, we ain't got no money for you. So they just gotta work until whenever. So I'm not feeling that. You make too much money for a Roth IRA, so you probably have to be in a traditional IRA. What's the difference? You might as well just keep the 401k. Or you take your money and you put it into and manage your own investments. Now, how many people have the discipline that every month, let's just say every month, you get a lump sum of $40,000 to invest? Do you have the discipline to invest $40,000 every month? Do you have the discipline to invest $40,000 every month? I'm just trying to figure it out. Let me read these comments. You said, I don't understand why people do not invest. It makes no sense to me, especially when they have the means to. I think most people don't understand how to invest. You said any advice on getting contracts? Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about government contracts. Go check out Eric Coffee. Depends on what you're talking about when you're talking about contracts. You just said technology. That's don't tell me much. There's security. There's MSP. There's so many things. There's a lot when you say that. GTN closed Friday at 6.41. It pays eight cents on a dividend each quarter based out of Atlanta. I have to look up GTN. Do 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 do. Yeah, so many people have mismanaged their earnings. It says, I, I didn't I hear a large portion of the stock market increase or the 401k. Yeah, you just heard about the 401k millionaires. They just talked about the new set of 401k millionaires. There's a whole new crop. It was on Yahoo Finance that they talked about 401k millionaires, like the new load of 401k millionaires that came out um just over this past year. Um it was a YouTube clip with the black chick that I was watching. It just came out, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, so it is working for folks, right?" I thought it was working. Everybody I know, they seem to be all right. They 401k millionaires. But again, I think a lot has to be done in order to get there. Um, I don't think you listen, you can go and invest in the individual stocks, but now you gotta watch it, you gotta play with it. So that's why a lot of people just do the indexes and just let it ride. It's boring. It don't do nothing. Your VOOs, your VTIs, your SPYs, your Qs, triple Qs, your Microsoft, your Apple, your Meta, and people just let those things ride and they don't touch them. They just buy the same thing and they just let it ride. You get some people that are going there and do some option plays after they get 100 shares. They'll play with some options and so forth, but eh, whatever. Yeah, that would be a good idea. California is trying to do a 529 savings plan for retirement for all residents, like baby bonds or something. Not bad. GRC. What about GRC, Alexander? I hope HPE, which is saying making a supercomputer. Yeah, yep. Is a good idea to get a data job right now or go back to school for an allied health degree. I have no idea what I think you were supposed to. I think you're trying to say applied health degree. But I'm not sure what that applied health degree covers. The what is applied health? I have no idea. I would have to look at that track. See, but for data, I would look at data engineering. You could go look at Snowflake, uh, Databricks. Look at ETL. Look at data engineering. Go to roadmap.sh and look at data engineering and look at the rope and look at what a data engineer does or data analyst as well, depending on you, how you see yourself if you're looking to do that. um progress wellness, you said not government contracts like short-term contract work. Yeah, you gotta look on Indeed for that, or Dice is another location, or Top Tile. Get with contracting companies where they can help you find the work or their customers come to them. Top Tile is one. You said, do Americans have RRSP? I live in Canada, and our 401k is basically I'm assuming retirement something plan. Yeah, we do have 401ks, but it's not like a national thing. It's an individual company thing. Yeah, it may be a correction company, but ride the wave now. You say if the 401k is eliminated, I think the state government will have a large issue in their hands and people will get old and look for state to help. Oh yeah, they already looking for that. They're already looking for that. Allied health means respiratory care rate. Okay. Yeah, if you want to go into that, that's fine. That's fine. It's I would look at what's the career path versus the job path, right? What is the career path? Like what's your progression? All right, you do radiology tech, then what? What's the next thing after that? How much money do they make? How long do those people stay in there? Top tile, TOPAL, top tile, T-O, yeah, TOPTAL, top tile. This is top tile right here. Top tile hire freelance talent from the top 3%. Apply as a freelancer, set up your stuff, go in there, keep it pushing. Top tile. There are other companies like Top Tile that there's a freelance platform, but their people come to them and then they contract you out. In fact, we had a guy that came to the meetup to talk about Top Tile on here. You can, as part of it, you can, yes. Alexander, you said I get what you're saying. It's boring. I do plan on learning how to. Yeah, so yeah, just it's just boring. It's boring. 13 a share. I'd look at GOF. That fun. I have to write those down and look at them. All right, Gen X. Back to you. I gave you a little break. Don't be washing up at the spigot at the cemetery. Don't be taking your baths at the spigot at the cemetery, right? All right, the challenge for securing financially stable retirement is underscored by data shown in the report that the National Institute of Retirement Security, which signals a glaring disparity between desired and actual savings of many Gen Xers. The sentiment is echoed through Schroeder's 2023 retirement survey, revealing that 60% of the non-retired Gen Xers doubt their ability to achieve comfortable retirement, which goes back to what I said before. What is comfortable retirement for you? What is that going to look like for you? Right? That's why I say you got to be strategic. Okay, let's do some number games here. Let's say you get with a company and you get a yearly bonus, all right, of about 30,000, right? And let's say this is the previous year you got the bonus, it's after taxes, you got the 30,000. And so you take the 30,000 and you dumped it into a plan somewhere where it's put it out there for putting in 15 when you put $1,000 in it, you're gonna put it in something that's gonna return you about 8%. This is just at a minimum. Just does not have to be the stock market. It does not have to be the stock market. It could be something else. It could be a real estate fund. It could be a REIT. It could be whatever. It could be some wine. I don't care. Right. And let's say annually you calculate that. That's 420,000. Now that's your bonus money. That's not your money. That's your bonus money. That's your bonus money that you've taken every year and you put into it. But remember, I'm only putting in $1,000. I could literally take 30,000 and divide it up by 12 because I know I'm gonna get 30,000 again the following year. And let's do that. Let's see what that is. Let me do a calculator. And let's divide that by 12. All right. So let's do 30,000 divided by 12. And that gives you about 2,500. So let's say you do 2,500 every year. You put it in. And now let's calculate that. That's about 909,015 years. Let's say you take in that bonus, and in 15 years, say you 50, you turn in 65 in 15 years. On just just your bonus money, you could be making that. This is just your bonus money. So I say you still got some time, but you need to start having strategic skills and investments now in order to get there. In order to get there. Now, with some of the new Republican candidates coming in, they're pushing the retirement age out to they're trying to push it out to 70. Can y'all make it to 70? Can you make it from working from 15 years old to 70? From 15 years old to 70. What's that? From 15 to 70. That's 55 years. Can you work 55 years? No, I used to record them. I don't record them anymore. 55 years. You've been working. You gonna be. I've been working on the train. Gang. Ooh, that's a long time. 55 years of working is a long time. 55 years. All right. Gen X. You only got about 40,000 saved up. You got to do better, Gen X. See, Gen Xers have contended with significant financial hurdles. Additionally, they bear a burden of the higher student loan debts and healthcare costs compared to previous generations. However, not all Gen Xers view their retirement prospects through a lens of pessimism. Some have successfully navigated the economic landscape, achieving financial security and even early retirement. These success stories, though less common, provide a glimmer of hope and a different perspective on the retirement readiness of Gen X. Gen X, you don't have no money. Why y'all not investing? Why y'all not increasing your skill set? Why you not putting money up? What's going on? Is it that you don't have no money to put up? You said I'm confused. Does it say Gen Xers have 40,000 saved up? They said that's the average. Let me scroll back up because right here, tell you right here, the average Gen Xer has only 40,000 saved up. That's what it tell you. That's what it just immediately what it says. Let me roll it. Let me scroll up right there. There it is, right there, so you can see it right there. The average Gen Xer has only 40,000 saved up. Of course, the comments was livid. 533 comments. First, you must live within your means. I'm 54, and I can say achieving millionaire status is more attainable than it appears. Right? A lot of men on the comments. This is so weird to me. We anticipate having 1.5 million when we retire. No pension, no help from our parents. So that's why I go back over here and say, those bonuses, get the jobs with the bonuses, get the jobs that with the profit sharing 401ks, get the jobs that have that lend some help to you, right? That's why I talk about the profit sharing 401ks, right? And here go guideline right here talking about the profit sharing 401ks. Despite its name, profit Sharing 401k plan doesn't necessarily involve your company profit. So what is it? Profit share it is a 401k plan that is pre-tax contribution employers can make to their employees' retirement accounts after the end of the year. Contributions are tax deductible for employers and stuff. Like I say, the profit sharing 401k where they and the minimum that the maximum they could take is 25%. They can do they could do 5, they could do 8, but you want to get the maximum. I mean, I would take the 8 if you can't find nothing. Take the 8, take the 10%, not the match, but the actual percentage. How does that work? Uh, let's go here, calculator. Again, I showed it last week, but I'll do it again because I'm talking to Gen X. $100,000 job. Let's just say they do about 15% into your 401k. That's every year they're putting in $15,000 plus you put in your $23,000. So that means every year you're getting about $38,000 putting in there, and you take that and divide that by 12. That's $3,200. So now we go over here and say after your first year, you got $38,000 in there. You putting in $3,200. You got 15 years to work. Return. Let's do calculate that. You could be at 1.1 million. Like I say, it's hope. Right here on the low end, 984,000. On the high end, 1.3 million. But you can't be working at do can you work for 57,000? Can you work for 57,000? Sure. Will you get to a point of retirement if you got houses, cars, kids, one income? S- I'm just sorry. It don't make for a good sense. It could be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just talking about how healthy is it to do it? How healthy is it to be on $50,000 for the rest of your life when you got kids to put through college, you got a wife, you got all these things. Can it be done? Is it gonna be tight? How much money are you putting into retirement? Are you maxing that out? I know some people be like, I don't put all that money away because I need my money. I'm not putting my money in that. Some people be like, okay, if I make $50,000, they lucky that I put $500 away in my retirement. They telling y'all gonna work to 70, Gen Xers. So I should go, but let me go back and up this because I gave you 15 years. I should give you 20 years. And then let's calculate that. And so in 20 years, you'll be at 1.9 million. Now, here's the other kicker with this too. The average person after retirement, and this is around I'm assuming the 65 to 70 range, only lives 5 years, possibly 6. So you work 50 years to retire, only enjoy your money for 5 years. But wait, there's more. There's also another report out that says that the average person who retires doesn't even spend most of their money. Like you don't spend it in retirement. So they're saying people who become millionaires or multimillionaires only end up spending 20% of their money most of the time. In fact, the more the money goes up in retirement. That's what I'm hearing. You said I contribute 6%. That's the amount where the company contributes as well as 20% on each dollar. Yep. So again, find a company, be strategic about the companies that can help you invest into your 401k, right? The employers, those that's a different type of company. It's a different type of company. Oh, snap. All right. Let me see. I'll go back to the thing. I'll talk about this real quick because this deals with Nvidia and investing. Jeff Bezos and Nvidia reportedly joined together to join others in backing up the startup that's building humanoid robots. Humanoid robots. These robots are the same ones that are going to be able to incubate kids. So you're probably going to start seeing the incubation of children out of this as well too. You'll see them being filled with AI. You'll also start seeing this. You'll also start seeing this to build and work in manufacturing plants. You're going to see a lot of this. All right, Bezos and Nvidia are said to be among the backers of the 675 million funding round that will value the company at $2 billion. The name of the company is Figure AI, a startup building humanoid robots. All right, humanoid robots. Bezos is likely to invest 100 million through his firm Explore Investments LLC, while Nvidia and fund affiliated Amazon are likely to put in 50 million apiece. Figure AI, do they have jobs? Ask yourself that. Figure AI. It gets smaller so you could get them on the screen because they're gonna be doing the manufacturing jobs. You're gonna be on the line standing next to a robot. You're gonna have a robot that's gonna get out and deliver packages. Now here's the question: how many of us working for this company? How many of us are looking at it? They making them 5'6". They're gonna make some 6 feet ones. You said, I wonder if it would get to the point where fertilized eggs can grow inside of a robot and women won't have to go through the pregnancy or the childbirth. That would change so much. Well, we've already seen and covered the growth of babies, right? The incubation of babies, right? Oh, come on. Is the title. AI just designed the worst first living robot that can uh, do something here. Let me go. Here go Miko, the smart companion for kids. The first IVF babies conceived by a robot have been born. MIT Technology Review. I subscribe to them. I actually get those in the mail. I have not reported from their articles in a while. I need to. This came out in 2023. This is happened in Barcelona. Uh, packed packed up the sperm injecting robot they designed and sent it to DHL in New York City. They followed it to a clinic there called New Hope Facility Center, where they put the instrument back together, assembling a microscope, mechanized needle, and a tiny petri dish and a laptop. Then one of the engineers with no real experience in fertility medicine used a Sony PlayStation 5 controller to position a robot needle, eyeing a human egg through a camera. It then moved forward on its own, penetrating the egg and dropping off a single sperm cell. Altogether, the robot was used to fertilize more than a dozen eggs. It said the results of this procedure, says researchers, were healthy embryos and now two baby girls who they claim are the first people born after fertilization by a robot. It says it says about 500 children are born through IVF globally each year, but most people who need help having kids don't have access to fertility medicine or can't pay for it. Just showing you what's out there. This could be your boyfriend, ladies. This could be your boyfriend. Two, please, D. Two, please. Here we go. Careers. See all openings. So they looks like they got humanoid management system integration and test. Here are the jobs that they got. They're looking for a system test engineer. They look out of Sunnyvale. Cybersecurity engineer, embedded software engineer, full stack, motor controls, robotic safety, software engineer, test services staff, hardware, global supply, business operations, inventory, AI, perception, computer vision, coordinator, robot manipulation, teleop, software engineer, right? So they got jobs. They just got $675 million in funding. They got jobs. All right. 21 upcoming dividend increases, including two kings. I'm going to run through them real quick, but these are upcoming dividend increases. All right. Came out on the 23rd. I'm going to run through them real quick. And then we're going to go from there. All right. Here are the ticker symbols. The S&P Global, SPGI, Nextra Energy, King Cell Capital, Manulife, the CX Corporation, CSX, you know who that is, railroads. And look how they labeled them. They labeled them King and Champions, Contenders, and Challengers. Brooksfield Infrastructure, I've talked about them before. Shutterstock, Shutterstock, Genuine Parts, Polaris, Arthur J. Gallagher, AJG, um, GATX Corporation, UFP, Mercantile, Walker and Dunlop, Stifel Financial Corporation, Clearway Energy, Bank of James Financial Group, BOTJ, Clearway, and Vulcan Materials and Imperial Oil Limited. So these are expected to have an increase. Here are the dates. Those the 26, 27, so forth and so on. But they're talking about the percentage that they're increasing on their dividends. You see, it won't let me sort, but let me see. So far, I see 13.1%. I saw 20%. Manual Life MFC. MFC is one. I'm looking to see if I got another one that's around 20. Okay, here we go. Bank of James Financial Group, BOTJ, is increasing 25%. Increasing 25% in Imperial Oil Limited, IMO. So you can go to Google Finance and you could type in these ticker symbol, the one that's 20% IMO. And let's see what we get back here. And then let's do 5 year up 130%. The max is 15.78%. And it's increasing dividends. And they are what we consider this is a challenger. They consider this a challenger. You would have to go look up see what a challenger is. I don't know if it's 10 years or 15 years. I'm not sure. Let me see if they got it anywhere down here. I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't see it down here when I was looking at it before. But it gives you an idea of of what's going on. I'll give you this link and you could go. I don't think you need to be a member for this. And you all can go look this one up. The McKinsey Black Economic Mobility Report. I think I did that already, but I'll double check. I think I talked about this already. I'll look it over, but I think I talked about this already. Let me look. Their insights, their research. Yeah, this December 2023, they talked about AI impacts of climate change. Yeah, I think I looked through these before because I think I stumbled upon them. There, somebody had wrote an article, and then I went to the article and looked up the actual information on it. All right, we talked about Jeff. All right, one for the road, one gossip for the road. That is not a juicy one. That's not a juicy one. That might be one. Yeah, let's do this one. This was the juicy one. All right, I look at the McKinsey one, but I'm pretty sure I talked about it. All right, I gave up a job that I loved passionately. My husband secretly set up a trust that includes our home and his investments. What should I do? He put it in a trust. You know how I feel about trusts. So he said, my husband secretly set up a trust that includes our home and his investments. Let's get into it. My husband and I married 10 years ago. It was our second marriage for both of us. I recently found out that after 5 years of marriage, he put all our assets into a trust controlled by him. At that time, at his request, I also gave up a job that I love passionately so we could establish a stable home for his youngest daughter. He also has three other children who had already launched. Instead of having a high level job with bonuses and accolades, I ran one of his companies with no pay. I also drove his daughter's carpool, allowed his adult son and his son's children to move in with us, and ran our home in a smooth and efficient manner. I acted as a good steward of his assets so he could maximize his retirements and investments. I also added substantial assets to our portfolio with my hobby of real estate investing. I'm a team player and thought that upon retirement we would live the life we dreamed about during the early days of our marriage. I expected he would retire at 65 and we would travel the world. Our portfolio is worth 10 times what it was when we were married. His retirement account and several IRAs were opened up after we were married. The irrevocable trust for his children. What's going on, Peter Investor? He put everything, even our home and my investments properties, into a trust with his friend as the trustee. I had been the beneficiary of his retirement account, but now the trust is. I believe this changed. I believe this change of beneficiary was forged. He invested a company that stands to make a lot of money, and that investment was put into an irrevocable trust for his children only. His children have quit their jobs to create startups with the funding from their dad. At 69, he feels he can retire because he's helping his kids. I told him that if I outlived him, I would get everything I inherited from him to his children, and my assets would go to my family. When confronted about the trust, he said he assumed I'd be okay with it because of my promise to give his assets to his kids. I'm not even 50% beneficiary. I'm terrified his kids will boot me out of my home or declare me incompetent when I'm a little old lady just trying to sit on the beach. I don't even have kids of my own to look out for me. He can't understand why I'm upset. Now I'm nearing retirement age with no extra investments in my retirement account, no credit for my work I've done, no say in my assets. I don't even have a work history for the past 10 years. I can't get a job. Is this illegal? I'm going to read it again. I told him if I outlived him, I would give everything I inherited from him to his children. Because wow, Kagon, why would I not? Why would I not give him the assets that I help him build, the real estate investment properties that I help him build? I gave him my money that I had. I wanted us to be one. Down to earth. I want his kids to know and know that I would never take nothing from him. I will all get everything to him. He's like, say less. Say less. Put it in the trust. Say less. And put it in the trust. I keep trying to tell y'all. The trust boy. All right. He assumed that I would be okay with this because of my promise to give his assets to his kids. I'm not even a 50% beneficiary. I'm terrified his kids will boot me out of my home or declare me incompetent when I'm just a little old lady trying to sit on the beach. I don't even have kids. Excuse me, I'm on to look out for me. He can't understand why I'm upset. Now I'm near retirement with no extra investments in my retirement account, no credit for my work I've done, no say in my assets. She hasn't contributed to her Social Security either in the last 10 years, her own Social Security, because she's not working. She worked for him for free. She did not receive a W 2 income, therefore, she did not get anything else. So, therefore, she has no contribution. She's just a little old lady that's been contributing to his wealth, his work, his everlasting love, his children, and everything else surrendered around that. If I bring in an attorney, it will ruin the marriage. I can't even contest that. I can contest the will because it states if anyone contests the will, they will have nothing. Most things, I'm smart, but gosh, I've been so stupid. What are my options? Second class wife. Secrets, trust, and a possible forgery do not constitute a healthy marriage. There's nothing stopping a spouse from setting up a trust during marriage, but they also should do so with separate assets. To set up a trust with separate assets without telling your spouse is bad manners. But to create a trust with both separate and marital assets in secret is a recipe for a legal battle and divorce court. Marital assets are those that are accumulated during the marriage. And right now, sweet cheeks, it looks like you should be getting a divorce and you need to get on up out of there. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Does she love him? Do he love her? Is this love? If it isn't love, why do I feel this way? Why does she stay? Is this love? Or is this Heartbreak Hotel? What's going on, Derek? How you doing, man? All right, so here's the next thing that they say. Sometimes in life, you have to make a choice. You can stand back and allow your husband to squirrel away marital property and thereby save your marriage on paper, even though he has broken your faith in him and in the marriage. Or you could call a lawyer, perhaps for a forensics accountant, to examine the contents of the trust and trace the origins and thereby risk your marriage. While there are legitimate reasons for a spouse to set up a trust during marriage, sometimes it is done in order to improperly shield assets from equitable distribution. According to Jewel Law PLLC, often the non-beneficiary spouse is not aware of the trust or thinks the money came from another source, such as a family member. Transparency is the key to marital estate planning. A trust set up in one spouse's name can be considered separate property, regardless of whether it's set up before or after the marriage. So the trust protects you inside the marriage, right? However, when it is created during a marriage, the non beneficiary spouse must raise the question of whether any marital assets have been put into the trust. This is a situation in which a prenuptial agreement could have been helpful to confirm and protect the rights of each spouse in the event of divorce or death. State law governs a spouse's inheritance rights. Most states provide a surviving spouse with a minimum elective share, that is the right to take a share of the deceased spouse property regardless of what the will or revocable lifetime trust agreement provides. Most states. The idea of the elected share is to avoid the complete disinheritance of the surviving spouse, so no contest clauses are ineffective to defeat the demand of the elective share. What goes into the elective share pot will vary from state to state. For example, life insurance is not included in determining the elective share. Some people may seek to defeat a spouse's elected share rights by transferring property to an irrevocable trust, but they generally must survive a look back period in order for the transferred property to be excluded. Potential forgery. Potential forgery. Some retirement plans require a spouse to be the primary beneficiary. If your husband changed the beneficiary on a qualified retirement plan without your consent, this should be challenged. Other retirement plans, such as IRAs, do not carry the same spousal consent requirements. You can read about what plans are covered under the Retirement Equity Act. Many people are surprised to learn that 401ks and IRAs are treated differently. The former are governed by the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. So if you all got 401ks and you're married and you want to know what it's covered by, here you go. It is covered by the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. And it states that typically a spouse must consent in writing to have someone else named beneficiary. He adds IRAs are governed by ERISA, and spouse's content is not required to designate a non-beneficiary, a non-spouse as a beneficiary. If your husband did forge your consent on a 401k beneficiary designation form, you should act ASAP. While you're in the process that and while you're in process that information, I have other questions for you to mull over. What are you hanging on to? The illusion of a happy marriage, the promise of financial security. Oh, he loves me. Even though this seems increasingly unlikely, the damage to your marriage has already been done, sugar tits. It's already been done by your husband. By hiring a lawyer after so many years of acquiescing to his requests, you would be merely cleaning up the fallout from his action. One final piece of advice: if you're considering divorce, you would be better off waiting until your 10th anniversary. 10 years is always the mark. And after that date, you will be able to receive spousal social security benefits. If he earned more than you during your marriage, you're entitled to a maximum of 50% of your husband's full retirement benefit. 10 years is the mark, ladies and gentlemen. Go on and wait 11 just to make sure. Go on and wait 11. Like they like my dear used to say on the thing, the only reason why I let you late or why I let you live here because you get a check every month. All right, so here we go. You're giving up a lot. You've given up a lot to your husband. Yes, you did it willingly, but you contributed your time and financial expertise to your husband's businesses. And any right thinking divorce court would not be likely to look kindly on your husband's actions. Not all stepmothers abide by their promise to distribute assets to their late spouses, but this is not an excuse for his actions. In addition to forgery and financial skullduggery, you can add gaslighting to the list of his misdeeds. This somebody else knew. This ain't Quentin. This somebody else knew. Somebody else wrote this for Quentin because Quentin don't talk like this. Financial skullduggery. Alexander, you said, this is what 80% or 90% of what men go through. Not so fun when the shoe is on the other foot. 80 to 90% of men do not go through that. Let's back up. Let me call you out on your bullshit right there. 80-90% of the men do not put their stuff in a trust. That's first off. Second off, that most of them don't even have the knowledge to even put it in a trust. So they don't even do that. So we can rule that out right there. And then on top of that, you are married. Y'all are married. That's why this is why it's an issue. You are married. You're supposed to get split. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. You don't ever, Alexander, don't come over here with that bullshit. I'm gonna call you out every time. I'm gonna call you out every time. That's if the woman is at home and she's not contributing to the workforce, she's relied upon you to give her an allowance or money. She's not even contributing to her social security benefits, which helps her. She's relying on you. You are the breadwinner. So when she go get divorced, absolutely she's gonna come back. The judge and them gonna look at you, sir. This your woman, right? This is your woman. You took care of her. They're gonna be like, Annie up. Now, if you don't want that, allow her to work. Allow. I'm using that word loosely. 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 You all can't sit up here and say, I want her to be my wife and she never works. And then when you go out to in society, when you say, okay, well, I don't want to be your husband anymore, or she doesn't want to be your wife anymore because she's probably 9 times out of 10 getting some, I'll say 50% of the time, some type of abuse. I looked it up last night. Most of it is commitment issues and financial abuse. Those are the top two. Those are the top two. So which one is it? Who's being financially abused? If the man is making more money, who's getting the abuse? Right? It could go either way. All I'm simply saying is this: you can't sit up here and say, "Oh, that's my woman," and if she decides to divorce me, even though she's been a stay-at-home mom and taking care of me, the kids, and my mama, and my daddy, and everybody else, and cleaning up, that she don't deserve nothing. Oh, and by the way, I cheated on you and I had a baby, or by the way, I put all the assets that we have been working towards and you've been helping me build. I put it in a trust so you could go on about your business because I ain't giving you nothing. That don't make sense. And why would you want to do somebody like that? Cause she leaving you? Cause he left you? Why would you want to do someone like that? Like where's your heart and compassion for the person that you said that you love? There's no compassion because she don't want to be there no more. Well, she don't love me no more. Well, she gonna have to go out there, let her die, let her die. Like I don't know. Like yeah, some of y'all just don't make no sense. What y'all get married for? Why y'all even procreate? Some of y'all don't make no sense to me. It don't make sense to me. What is the purpose? Oh, so you can have a legacy. But if that legacy is looking at you, how you treat your mama, how you treat your daddy, or what have you, of course it's gonna affect that child. You do your mom dirty, or the mom does the dad dirty, yeah, it's gonna affect the child. So what's the part? What's as my aunt say, what's the point? What's the point? Why would you want to get married to somebody and then dog them out? Why would you want somebody in your life to dog them out? Why not just go be a dog? Same way with women. Why would you want to get with somebody to go dog them out? It's on both sides. It never makes sense to me. If you're not happy, just walk away. So like, you know what? I'm out. I'm just asking questions. It's cruel to say I am no longer want to be married to you. And by the way, you get nothing. You decide to leave, so you don't get nothing. Well, she been at home, she been working, she been putting in time, she been putting in effort, whatever it is. And this is why this is just my own personal thoughts. This is Tamika thoughts. I think every man and every woman, in particular in the black community, should meet after they should get married after they make $50,000. Like I don't even think you should be making 50. I think you should be meeting after you make $70,000 actually. Let's move that up. Maybe even 100. Like don't even say we together. Cause y'all will be like, oh no, 50,000 together, we can put our money together and it's $100,000 household. No, it's not. It's not $100,000 household. The only way it's $100,000 household if she don't handle that and he don't handle that. And 9 times out of 10, y'all got debt. So let's just go on and move the needle and get together after y'all have had financial counseling. Y'all understand what marital assets are. You understand what a trust is, you understand what a 401k, an IRA is, you understand the basics of real estate. Like the girl, let's talk about her. Cause this one kind of made me mad. The chick, Risa, Tisa, Tessa, Messa, whatever, right? Whatever the chick name is. She moved the guy into her place. Number one, you already know, moving a guy into your place, and then y'all get married and he stay in your place. Now they've commingled assets, is now a marital asset now because she moved him in. It would have been smart if she didn't move him into her place. And in that story, he came back and said, "Oh, you can't kick me out because this is a marital asset. This is what blah 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 is, and I gotta live there." So he pulled that card, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. The issue that I have with her whole story is one of the things that kind of like boiled my blood was she said it felt so good to have a man come in and pay all the bills. And in my head, the reason why it felt so good is because you were probably financially struggling to pay your bills. And that's why I don't agree with two people getting together, struggling together, and then they get together and then they increase. I just don't agree with that. I think y'all all need to be financially healthy. I think you all need to be mentally healthy. I think you all need to put in time to do that. And you're not gonna do you can't see what the added benefit of being married is because you're like, well, if I get married to her, she can at least help out with the food, or he can at least help. Like it don't why struggle? Why should two people get together because they're struggling? Why not get together because we're thriving together? Because when I put my 100 with your 100, on my 150 with your 120, now we talking, now we moving, now we already qualified to get that house. We already have a savings. You already have your emergency fund. He got his emergency fund. He got his budget. You got your budget, and now y'all come up with y'all budget together, whatever they look like. But why we always have to get together? And it's always something in the black community that really like chaps my hide. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get together with y'all, and we gonna struggle together. Cause if we struggle together, that means she love me because we struggling together. No, it don't. That don't mean I love you. That don't mean you love me because we struggling together. That ain't what that is love supposed to struggle? I ain't never thought that. But I mean, hey, I don't know. Y'all be so bent on struggle love that and wanting to classify it that way, I should say, that y'all don't even realize the mental and the mental, the physical, and the emotional effects it has on you in your marriage. It usually takes about 10 to 12 years before y'all really hit a good stride. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the 20-year-old Asian, the 21-year-old Asian, the 23-year-old Asian who are already making 100,000, who wife comes in making 75 or whatnot, have already hit their stride. We don't hit our stride in the black community till we in our 40s and 50s in a marriage. The goals are so effed up. We're so effed up. So effed up. And then you want to get in there and be like, she tried to take my cornbread. Like, I don't. I'm done. My man ran over. The dude in this article is effed up. She crazy for putting all like she walked into that. She should have protected her assets. I get it. You love them and you doing it whatever, but you gotta realize sometimes with people, they would always when it's involving money would change on you. They will always change on you. So you gotta know that when No matter how much you love a person or how much you think that person love you, you just got to make sure that you got to put a little something aside. Everybody want a piece of the pie. Everybody want to go on a vacation. Everybody want to go on a trip. Everybody want to have something of their own. Everybody want to be seen. I don't care how much people talking about, oh, I want to be on social media. It's not about social media. Everybody want to feel loved and everybody want to be seen by their person, whatever that looks like. And if I can't be seen by my person and whatever that looks like, then people have problems. And so within that, all I'm simply saying is this: we cannot continue to say we want to thrive and have a nuclear family, but in order to have a nuclear family, we got to get together when we ain't got no money. Because once we make money, we ain't getting it with y'all. Like, I can't get with no woman because she done made some money. You got to get them when they ain't got no money. Well, when they don't have no money, they really, truth be told, they don't really have a good financial sense. And let's be real, some of y'all don't even in your old age or your big age, as they say, don't have good financial bearings. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. I'm done. Oh, let me read chat because I saw it going off. But what short end of the stick do they get in the divorce? Is it the short end of the stick, or is it that's the time and effort that that person has put into it? I don't know. I've seen this go back and forth. I've seen TLA. I've seen all these things talked about this, that, and the other. I've seen it. Again, if you come into a situation where you meet a woman and you have assets and you didn't protect your assets before marriage, that's your fault. Don't blame her. Blame yourself. Trust, prenups, that's your fault. I don't care if you go put it in your mama name. Don't nobody care about that. Whatever. Same way with a woman. If you come into a situation with assets and you don't have that stuff protected, that's your fault. You know what? You listen. The wealthy people have been doing it for years. Pay the money and go sit down and seek counseling and protect your assets. I don't see what the problem is. Go protect your assets. Be smart about it. Yeah, and it's the thing though. This is why I laugh about too, right? Just because y'all don't have no kids, that don't mean you ain't have no family. Like, ladies, I don't understand. Men too. Just because you don't have no kids don't mean you should make enough money to support or leave something behind for your family or the next generation. Why can't you go make 10 million and then put in a execution of your estate a scholarship fund where it helps build up a neighborhood, or it helps build up some kids to go off to college, or some people in your family to build a business or something. Like, why can't it be that? Why you listen, go make all the money in the world and leave it behind for the next. Do your thing. But y'all act like y'all don't have no brothers. Y'all act like y'all ain't got no sisters. Y'all act like y'all ain't got no nieces and nephews. Y'all act like y'all ain't never seen a great grand or you got some land out there or whatever. Y'all act like y'all ain't got nothing. Y'all act like y'all can't do nothing. It's so much you could do. You could give, oh, you know what? I know some kids that are going to through Job Corps. I'm gonna set up a scholarship for them. So when they get out of Job Corps, it could be like a starter scholarship. And then you can have people give it out to them like, hey, here's the starter scholarship. Like y'all all so close-minded. Like you like, oh, like you so tight. Like they say, you could your ass so tight you could squeeze a buffalo off a penny. Like, why you so goddamn tight? You can leave stuff to other people. You ain't gotta be your seed. You ain't gotta be just your seed. Nah, Denise, he ain't love her. Mm, I would have left my job to raise his kids. She loved him. She loved his dirty draws. She wanted to work. She became a maid. She became the do spouse, right? She do everything. Sounds like red flags covered in the sky. Yeah, but we don't, we going to this idea like, okay, we're gonna get married young. And it's fine to get married young. Nothing wrong with that. The problem with getting married young is 9 times out of 10, most of the time in the black community, we don't have no money. So we get married young. We already starting off in a deficit. God forbid that both of y'all didn't finish high school, or one of y'all didn't go to college to get some more skills to work, or you're not choosing the right path. So that's why we see the utility workers, the truck drivers, the bus drivers, I'm going into nursing. That's what we see, and that's where we stay at. We don't come out of it. We just stay in it because we're grinding. We're always grinding. We're always grinding. Like, oh, if I work overtime, I'll get this. If I work this, I get that. But if you go look up the stats for black men are dying at 61.9. 61.9. So if you're gonna retire at 65, y'all ain't even making retirement. Let's be clear. So then you work till your body can't make it no more. You work till your body break down. You working in a job that requires a physical and a mental drain on your body every single day. At some point, you gotta. At what point do you say this ain't it? This ain't it. This is not the life. This ain't this. I can't do this forever. It's a stepping stone to get to the next level. What is the next level? What does that look like? Where is the career path? What does the career path look like? How do I maximize my time and my efforts and my money that I'm going to make? You ain't got to work in tech for 20 years. You could get a good job in tech and be in there 10 to 15 years, get out, have a million, 2 million saved up, go do something else, ride that thing on out, get you a job paying, I don't know, 50, $60,000, whatever the case may be, whatever makes you happy. Well, you can stay in it. But the idea of waiting till you're 65 to retire, and the average person only lives 5 to 7 years after retirement, really 70 for us. 5 to 7 years after retirement, and you don't spend down all your money. And then on the other side of the map, most black men are dying at 61.9, which means that the woman is living 8 to 10 years afterwards. Hopefully, y'all had enough money saved up. Hopefully you had a life insurance policy, a term life insurance policy. Hopefully she was still working. Hopefully he was still working and contributed to Social Security. Some of y'all not even contributing to Social Security. I'm just saying, get the shit together. It don't make you the trajectory of what we're going down. It don't make sense. I think it changes after with Gen Z. I think there's some changes there. I'm not sure what that's gonna look like yet. It ain't played out yet. But the days of breaking your back and dying early, I like that. Y'all got to be. Y'all ain't tired. You ain't tired. Atlanta said, working at the factory for 2 weeks when I was 18, 19, I'm 26 now, and I have never looked back. I switched to remote work and left my ass off. I am like, how can people do this every day like this work? I'm gonna tell the story and then I'm out of here real quick. Working at General Motors, worked on the line, getting paid 25. They was like, yeah, it's good work, this, that, and other. But the people who worked there, I was getting paid 18, but then the job I got offered was paying 25. And it was after my probationary period, it would have went up to $32 an hour. It was back in 2000. And the people that worked on the line told me, and this is what they said, and I thank them to this day for this. They was like, if this is what they said to me. They said, go and finish college. Don't let us see you working back here. There's nothing for you here. This is not where you want to be. There's like this job does nothing but wear and tear on your body. And and these are the words that they said. They said most of the people that you see working here are about to die. And and it came one day, one guy, he was working and he died on the line. He literally died on the line. He just fell out and he died. And from that, what I saw from working on the line, I used to be like, y'all, this is boring. Ain't no mind nothing to it. You just putting on the same part over on the same engine over 900 cars or 1,000 cars. You doing the same job. But that man died on the line. As soon as you die on the line, they come by, they pick you up, they stop it, they bless it, and then keep it moving. It's black men and black women that worked on the line at General Motors at Ford. Black men and black women. One lady, one lady was getting ready to go to work. One lady, she was getting Betty. That was her name, Betty. Betty was getting ready to go to work. I ain't gonna never forget this. I had left by then, and I had got back in touch with one of our mutual friends, and I called her and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Baby, I don't know if you know this or not, but Betty died." I said, "Why? How she died?" She was like, "She died getting ready to come to work." And she had already said she was gonna get up out of there, but she died getting ready to come to work. And that lady didn't even that lady might have been at that time 52, 56. The guy that died, he was in his 60s. I don't understand what y'all. I get what y'all see in these manufacturing jobs. I get what you see in the trades. I just think the trades do more harm physically and mentally than they do being in other fields of like tech or something like that. That's just my own personal thing. That's my thing. I think you're better than that. But if you don't see it for yourself, then it's nothing I can say or do about it. All right, y'all. I'm done. Bye.